The year was 1980. Disco was fading, and a new decade was upon us. But in Orange County, California, a darkness descended, casting a long shadow over the sunny facade. Dorothy Jane Scott, a young single mother, vanished without a trace. Her story, riddled with eerie phone calls and dead ends, became a chilling reminder that even in paradise, evil lurks. This is the story of her disappearance, a case that continues to baffle and haunt us to this day. Dorothy's disappearance sent shockwaves through her community and beyond. It was a stark reminder that even the most ordinary lives can be touched by the extraordinary, and sometimes the inexplicable. The case, with its unsettling twists and turns, captivated the nation, leaving an indelible mark on the annals of unsolved mysteries. This is not just a story about a missing person, it's a descent into the darkest corners of human behavior, a stark reminder of the vulnerability that lies beneath the surface of everyday life. Dorothy Jane Scott was more than just a name on a missing person report. She was a devoted mother, a loving daughter, and a trusted friend. Born in 1948, Dorothy was the epitome of California sunshine, her warmth and kindness radiating to everyone she met. She dedicated her life to her young son Shanti, her love for him knowing no bounds. They were two peas in a pod, their bond unbreakable. Dorothy worked as a secretary, her days filled with the mundane tasks of office life. But she never complained, her dedication to providing for her son her driving force. Her colleagues at Swinger's Psych Shop and Custom John's Head Shop knew her as a diligent worker and a loyal friend. She was a devout Christian, finding solace and strength in her faith. Dorothy was not one for the fast life. She preferred the quiet comforts of home, spending her evenings with Shanti or catching up with her family, who lived nearby in Anaheim. She was the picture of normalcy, her life a tapestry woven with the threads of love, family, and faith. Little did she know a storm was brewing, one that would tear her life apart. The evening of May 28, 1980 began like any other for Dorothy. She attended an employee meeting at work, her thoughts consumed with the usual concerns of deadlines and schedules. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. During the meeting, a co-worker, Conrad Bostron, fell ill, a spider bite they suspected. Concerned, Dorothy, along with another colleague, Pam Head, decided to take him to the emergency room at UCI Medical Center. The trio arrived at the hospital, the atmosphere a stark contrast to the sunny Californian evening outside. The air hung heavy with the smell of antiseptic and the low hum of anxiety. Bostron was treated and released around 11 p.m., his spider bite proving more of a nuisance than a serious threat. Relieved, Dorothy offered to retrieve her car from the hospital parking lot, wanting to make it easier for Bostron to leave. She told Pam and Conrad she would be right back, her words a promise lost to the night. She disappeared into the labyrinthine corridors of the hospital, her presence swallowed by the cold, sterile environment. It was the last time anyone would see her. Hours crawled by, each tick of the clock a hammer blow to the hearts of Dorothy's loved ones. She had vanished, swallowed whole by the night. Her car, a 1975 white Toyota Corolla, was missing too. The police were called, their investigation hampered by the late hour and the lack of concrete leads. The waiting game had begun, each passing moment a torturous blend of hope and despair. Then, at the break of dawn, a gruesome discovery. Dorothy's car was found engulfed in flames in a deserted alley in Santa Ana. The fire, a raging inferno, had reduced the vehicle to a smoldering skeleton, its identity barely discernible. Hope turned to ash in the mouths of Dorothy's family. The car was empty. Where was Dorothy? Had she escaped the flames? Or had something more sinister transpired? The questions hung heavy in the air, unanswered, like ghosts in the wreckage. The discovery of the burning car, far from providing answers, only deepened the mystery. It was a cruel tease, a macabre puzzle piece that refused to fit. The investigation was now a race against time, a desperate search for a missing mother, a daughter, a friend. Section 5. Whispers of Terror, the chilling phone calls. In the weeks leading up to her disappearance, a sinister prelude unfolded. Dorothy had become the target of a stalker, his presence announced through chilling phone calls that sent shivers down her spine. The voice, a raspy whisper at the other end of the line, spoke of love and obsession, but beneath the surface lurked a current of menace, a promise of violence that made her skin crawl. He knew things, intimate details of her life, details that sent chills down her spine. He would call at odd hours, his voice a jarring intrusion into the sanctuary of her home. Sometimes, he would remain silent, his heavy breathing the only indication that she wasn't alone. Other times he would unleash a torrent of threats, his words dripping with venom. He spoke of harming her, of making her disappear, his threats escalating with each passing call. He was a specter haunting her waking hours, his presence a constant reminder of her vulnerability. Dorothy was terrified, her once carefree spirit now clouded with fear. She reported the calls to the police, but the stalker remained elusive, his identity a terrifying mystery. Section 6. A confession from the shadows, the newspaper call. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. The investigation into Dorothy's disappearance seemed to be hitting one dead end after another. The police were baffled, her family heartbroken. Then, a chilling development that sent a shockwave through the case. The Orange County Register, a local newspaper covering Dorothy's disappearance, received a call. The voice on the other end, chillingly familiar, sent a wave of dread through the newsroom. "I killed her," the voice whispered, each word a hammer blow to the heart of the investigation. "I killed Dorothy Scott." The caller, claiming to be Dorothy's killer, went on to reveal details about the case that had not been released to the public. He spoke of a scarf Dorothy had been wearing the night she disappeared, a detail only someone intimately familiar with the case could have known. He spoke of Conrad Bostron's spider bite, further solidifying his claims. Terror gripped Dorothy's family. The calls were no longer just the ramblings of a stalker. They were confessions from a killer, a constant reminder that Dorothy was gone, her life stolen in the dead of night. Section 7. Silent Witness. The discovery of Dorothy's remains. 4 agonizing years passed, 4 years of unanswered questions, of sleepless nights and shattered hopes. Dorothy's family clung to the slimmest threads of hope, praying for a miracle for her safe return. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. In August 1984, a group of construction workers made a gruesome discovery in a remote area near Santa Ana Canyon Road. Bones, scattered amongst the undergrowth, bleached white by the relentless California sun. The news spread like wildfire, the flames of hope extinguished by the icy grip of reality. Dental records confirmed their worst fears. The remains were Dorothy's. Her watch and ring, silent witnesses to her final moments, were found clutched in the skeletal embrace of her hand. The watch had stopped at 12:29 a.m., a frozen reminder of the moment her life was tragically cut short. The discovery of Dorothy's remains brought a tragic end to years of uncertainty, but it also ignited a firestorm of new questions. Who was the caller? Why had he taken her life? And what had happened in the 4 long years since her disappearance? Section 8. Chasing Shadows. The elusive trail of the killer. Despite the discovery of Dorothy's remains, the case remained frustratingly cold. The caller, his voice a haunting reminder of Dorothy's last moments, was never identified. Leads were pursued, witnesses interviewed, but the pieces of the puzzle refused to fit. Theories abounded, whispers of a scorned lover, a jealous acquaintance, a random act of violence. But the truth, elusive and cruel, remained hidden in the shadows. The police investigated possible connections to other missing person cases from the era, desperate for a break. The similarities to the disappearance of Patricia Jean Schneider, another young woman who had vanished under mysterious circumstances, were impossible to ignore. But despite their best efforts, no concrete link could be established. The trail had gone cold, the killer, like a phantom, had disappeared into thin air. Section 9. Echoes of Unsolved Mysteries. Dorothy's case, with its eerie phone calls, dead ends, and lingering questions, became a chilling reminder of the dark side of human nature. It joined the ranks of other unsolved mysteries from the 1980s, cases that captivated the nation and left an indelible mark on our collective psyche. The disappearance of Michaela Gorecht in 1988, the murder of Peter Ivers in 1983, each case a tragic echo of a decade marked by both progress and a chilling undercurrent of fear. These cases, forever etched in our memories, serve as a stark reminder of the fragility of life, of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most ordinary days. They challenge our sense of security, forcing us to confront the uncomfortable reality that some questions may never be answered, some wounds may never fully heal. But even in the face of such tragedy, we must never give up hope. Hope for answers, for justice, for a day when the shadows recede, and the truth, like a beacon in the darkness, finally comes to light.